Senior Judicial Analyst, Judge Andrew Napolitano. Good morning.
Good morning
to you,
Shirley.
Judge. Lots to unpack today, so let's start with this. What legal standards influence whether the DOJ convenes a grand jury to reassess claims of political misconduct?
So in the federal system, grand juries serve two purposes.
Okay.
One is to hear enough evidence to see if there's probable cause to indict someone, to charge them with a crime. That is probably not the purpose here, because even if everything that the Trump administration says happened as and when they said it, the statute of limitations is 5 years. Now, sometimes a conspiracy continues. Sometimes people continue to do the things to further the conspiracy, even though the principal events were more than 5 years ago. And sometimes the government will argue that the conspiracy continued so that we still have time to indict. That's probably a stretch. The events being looked at here occurred in 2015, 2016, 2017. None of the people work for the government anymore. None has worked for the government in the past 5 years. It's unlikely that they can overcome the statute of limitations problem, meaning it's too late to indict. What's the other reason that they summon grand juries in the federal system? Grand juries issue reports, usually about the behavior of the government. Now, that report either serves to embarrass the people articulated in the report or to promote government reforms, but it doesn't serve a prosecutorial purpose.
So can we talk about Texas? Because a lot is happening here. We know that Governor Greg Abbott has issued these arrest warrants, essentially, for the 51 Democrats who fled the state. But they're no longer in the state of Texas. So what jurisdiction does he have? Texas Rangers can't travel.
Only a judge can issue an arrest warrant. So the media, in my view, is misinterpreting, or Governor Abbott and his people are so angry at what has happened, they are misstating their authority. The Speaker of the Texas House cannot issue an arrest warrant. Only an arrest warrant can only be issued by a judge, either because someone has defied a judicial order, sometimes called a civil arrest warrant. We're not going to put you in jail, but we're going to bring you here to do what you must do.
That's what I think these are, the civil arrest warrant. Yeah.
Or a criminal arrest warrant. There's probable cause to believe that you've committed a crime. We're going to arrest you, bring you before a judge, explain the charges to you, and assess bail.
But that's not what's happening
That's not what we're talking about here. But in either case, they have to be issued by a judge. Now, let's say Governor Abbott, in his dismay over what's happening, sends the Texas Rangers to Illinois or to Massachusetts to arrest these people, the Democrats who have fled the Texas House of Representatives. Well, the Texas Rangers have no authority outside of Texas, and if they attempted to arrest these people, they themselves would be arrested for kidnapping, because they have no authority, and they're not going to be given that authority by the governor of Illinois or the governor of Massachusetts. Look, the Democrats chose Illinois and Massachusetts because law enforcement and the political system would be friendly to them there. If they chose another state, Alabama, Louisiana, I think the Texas Rangers would be deputized and would be authorized to arrest. How about an extradition warrant? Well,
can anybody force them to leave where they are right now?
No, because they haven't committed a felony, and an extradition can only be for a felony. What will force them to leave? As Ken Paxton, the Attorney General of Texas, said, their desire to be back with their families and with their jobs. These people are paid $7,200 a year. This is the lowest paying, one of the lowest paying state legislatures in the country. They're being fined $500 a day. Now, do the math. It's not going to take very long, 2 weeks, for that, for those fines to exceed what their salary is. So at some point, their normal human yearnings and financial needs will bring them back. However, the legislature is only in session for another 10 days, and they think they can hold out. We've seen this happen before, and they eventually come back, and the legislation they tried to block eventually becomes law.
Because I believe that Governor Greg Abbott can still hold other special sessions. He can still keep calling special sessions through the end of the year.
He can call another special session. He's got to give them notice. It's got to be just for this legislature doesn't sit all the time. They call they call for it at specific times with specific notice. So we may be going through this again in the fall.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.